seeing foreclosure signs in front yards anymore. News Source 15's Jared Cheatham says empty houses are easy targets for thieves to steal up to $20,000 worth of materials.
We looked at a variety of websites that list foreclosures around the Athens area, and there are anywhere between over 70 foreclosures to over 100, and yet you won't see those signs driving around Athens. This may be the only clue you have that this house is now owned by a bank. That's because thieves are in the market for cheap deals along with other home buyers.
There's a gate on the other side of the fence, and when they saw the property actually advertised for foreclosure, they used that gate to back in here and run into the house and knock the fence down. And the piece of wire hanging out of the side over there was attached to the central heating and air unit to the electric heat pump.
The thieves are after the copper wire, which only gets about $80 to $90, but costs banks up to $4,000. For associate broker and realtor Michelle Darapetny, this scene is all too familiar.
This is becoming epidemic. Just from a quick glance through my list, probably 30 or 40% of the houses that are listed that were foreclosed on that are now real estate owned by banks or REO properties have missing heating and air units.
Realtors like Darapetny are fighting back by recording the serial number on the air conditioning units. And some banks are even putting cages around the units, because the reality is Darapetny hasn't gotten a single unit back. Well,
I hope so. I doubt it.
Yeah. But this isn't as bad as it could be. Most thieves cut the copper wire right up against the house,
which costs even more money because contractors have to rip out the vinyl siding and replace the copper wire. All in all, this house has almost $20,000 worth of damage. Darapetny says thieves will steal almost anything they can. And for this little house, the statement rings true. And because this house has had so much damage, they've dropped the price from a little over $118,000 to a little over $100,000.
So, Jared, why didn't the neighbors hear the robbers steal these air conditioning units?
Well, that's because all the houses around this house are either foreclosed or for sale or for rent, so there's no one home to call the cops, which is actually quite common in these neighborhoods. They have little pockets of foreclosures.
After houses had over $5,000 worth of damage, buyers must get what's called a construction loan, which is even harder to get these days.
Early voting isn't running as smoothly as it did a few weeks ago for many Athens area counties.